Hi everyone, welcome back to Dave's Whiskey Reviews. I'd just like to thank everyone for subscribing and viewing and commenting so far. It's been really great, and very special thanks go to Aquavite, who gave me a shout out on one of his live videos, which is absolutely fantastic. Today we've got mystery review number 14. Before we get into that though, what I'll just mention very quickly is some of the things that have been helping me in my kind of preparation for these reviews. The first thing is something that Ralphie initially sort of recommended, and then Serge from Whisky Fun as well, which is to have a warm-up whiskey, something to kind of warm up your palate, warm up your nose for the tasting that you're going to do. And this should be something that you're very familiar with. So this is something from my decanter, which I've mentioned before, which was a mix of VAT 69 and Highland Park 12. And I feel like if I can nose it and sort of make the distinction between the Highland Park and the blended whiskey, then my nose is kind of on form enough to do a tasting. And the other thing that I use is a kind of palate cleanser. For this, you could use coffee or dark chocolate. I really like this dark chocolate, 74% dark chocolate from Tesco. So I've been using that to kind of cleanse my palate, have a taste of this kind of warm-up whiskey, and then go on and do the review. So here we are with number 14, which we'll try now. This one is looking like mid-gold for the colour. In terms of the viscosity, this one is looking like quite a high viscosity. As we've said before, it doesn't tell you sometimes a huge amount about the whiskey, but can give you an indication of the strength. Yeah, I'd say that's quite high. Oh, I'd say it's quite malty and quite naturally sweet as well. Red apple and a bit of raisin, like golden raisin maybe. It's actually quite juicy. Nice nose. Yeah, very fresh as well. Almost a very slight earthiness sort of coming from that maltiness maybe. Milk chocolate. Again, a kind of Speyside single malt sort of style. Let's have a taste. Wow. So it starts off quite sweet. Starts off with this, lovely finish. Starts off with that sweetness, that raisin, but it's not that golden raisin. It's not that fresh on the taste. It's a bit deeper. It's a bit darker. Hints of this kind of sherry maturation, although I don't think it is a sherry cask that it's from. It kind of hints at that from the natural sweetness of the whiskey. You get this maltiness, and then it builds quite a bit of spiciness as well, which I think is probably coming from the oak. Ginger, maybe a bit of chili. Yeah, and as I said, a lovely finish. Juicy, quite juicy the finish. A bit more kind of sort of green apple. There's a bit of bite to it as well, so I do think there's a bit of strength. Initially, I didn't think actually that there was a huge amount of strength to this, but it seems like especially on the back end of the taste and the finish. Yeah, a bit of chocolate, lots of maltiness coming through, and a bit of grassiness as well, actually. Quite a bit of grassiness. It reminds me a lot of, actually, there's a few sort of Speysiders that you wouldn't really have heard of, or because there just aren't any official bottlings. This reminds me of like Altmore or Glenlossie. It's that style of whiskey. There's a bit of chalkiness in there as well, actually. And between that kind of freshness, really the fresh fruit juiciness, and then that kind of contrasts quite well with that kind of slight earthiness and the grassy sort of note. And that spiciness is making me think there's a bit of age to it as well, because it is quite a bit spicy. I don't know if, sometimes difficult to tell whether the spiciness is coming from the oak or whether it's coming from sort of this young, brash spirit. But I have a feeling with this one it's coming more from the oak. To me it rings true, one of these sort of signatory bottlings of one of those sort of unknown Speysiders. It's not, some of those signatory bottlings can be really, there's a lot of dunnage to them. These kind of damp, earthy warehouse sort of notes. This one's not quite like that. It's a bit fresher. Bit of tingling at the end on the tongue. There is a bottling I'm thinking that this could be, which is a signatory cask strength bottling of something, but I can't remember what the distillery is for the life of me. It's possibly a Glenturret. And that's the kind of thing I'm thinking that it could be. That is what I'm going to go with, I think. I'm going to go with an 18-year-old Glenturret from Signatory Vintage Cask Strength Collection, which I think is at 48.9% alcohol. That is the bottling I'm thinking of. So we'll have a look here with the reveal. Oh, very close. Okay. So the other one I was thinking of was Glenlossie, and I mentioned Altmore as well. It isn't any of those, but it is, as I said, one of those unknown sort of space ciders, which I didn't even think to mention, which is Glenburgie. Glenburgie, 16 years old, from Hunter Lang's Old Malt Cask selection, vintage 1997, cask number 10222. I'm very happy with that, actually. I'm very happy with that. I feel actually like, just from doing, 14 reviews in, I feel like I'm already getting a lot better at this than I used to be. I feel like it's hugely useful. And it might seem like something that's maybe quite new to YouTube. And I've had a lot of comments, thank you very much for that, people saying, oh, well, it's amazing what you're doing, it's fantastic and very bold, but it's actually something that a lot of people have been doing on Reddit for a long time. I've mentioned Reddit before. I think it's fantastic whiskey community. But a lot of people do these kind of blind reviews, maybe not in front of the camera, but they do them at home. There's one user in particular called I Said No Goldfish, and he reviews absolutely everything blind. 500 and something reviews, every single one done blind, every single one with a guess of what he thinks it could be, and a reveal of what it actually is. So just kind of following in the footsteps of these people and bringing it to YouTube. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with what I guessed there, actually. I wonder if that is the bottling I'm thinking of. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you next time. See you again.